Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Tom Johnson begins now.
Good evening. First tonight, a Longford home has gone up in flames, with the destruction totalling more than $500,000. The owner barely managed to escape the blaze, waking from his sleep in the nick of time.
Waking to a scary sight and sound.
Oh, that sounds like fireworks in the front yard.
A raging blaze taking hold of a Longford home around 1 o'clock this morning.
We looked out the back window and it was just like a wall of fire at our back fence.
Everything started exploding, the wires started coming down and sparking, and then about 15 minutes later the tree went up and the hell was breaking loose out there.
Fighting the fire, crews from Cressy, Longford, Launceston and Perth worked to extinguish the blaze on Burleigh Street.
They did have difficulty initially with power, disconnecting the power as it had burned off the fascia, and they brought the fire under control.
Neighbouring properties managing to evade the wrath of the inferno.
Sam, we need to get out.
The fireys were pretty quick onto it, and they were straight onto sort of our property and stopped it. It looked like it was going to take our shed.
But fear of the fire spreading kept the community on its toes.
Just woke the kids up and got out of here as quick as we could. I don't think anyone slept for the night.
Fire investigators have estimated the damage to be around $600,000, with the entire home gutted.
The cause of the fire was unattended cooking, so the gentleman's put some foodstuffs on the stove and left it unattended.
It's understood the occupant of the property has lived here for decades and was lucky to escape. He was taken to the LGH for smoke inhalation and minor burns.
It's just sad to see that he's lost everything, and it's pretty heartbreaking.
The damage and destruction an important wake-up call for Tasmanians.
It's a timely reminder for people to ensure that they check their smoke detectors.
McKenna Bailey, 7 Tasmania News.
2 sheds and a car have been gutted by fire after a blaze tore through a vacant property in Clarendon Vale this afternoon. 4 locals were treated for smoke inhalation, while neighbours helped emergency services quickly bring the fire under control.
Come down with a hose and I yelled out to the boys and said the fire was like the back fence was on fire and then kicked the door in, got them out, and she was pretty hectic.
Multiple fences were also impacted as investigations continue into how the blaze broke out. Meanwhile, a Risdon Vale home has suffered extensive damage from what police say was a targeted attack. Emergency services were alerted to the blaze on Gardenia Road at 7:30 last night. The damage bill has been estimated at $400,000. Nobody was injured. A 54-year-old man from Risdon Vale, who allegedly attempted to light another fire in the area, has been charged with arson. A new Tasmanian Aboriginal advisory group will meet for the first time in the coming weeks to plot the course towards truth-telling and treaty. Despite challenges within the community, there's hope progress is being made.
Voices for Change assembled this week, showing their support for Aboriginal rights. November 2021 was a landmark in Tasmania's pathway to reconciliation.
Today the Parliament has acknowledged our sovereignty and our rights to our land.
A long-awaited report tabled in the Tasmanian Parliament, the key recommendations establishing a truth-telling process and a treaty. Process since has been steady.
In order to deliver truth-telling, treaty, justice, the return of lands, you need to be able to bring people together from the various parts of the Aboriginal community.
An Aboriginal advisory group has been established to co-design the path forward. They'll meet for the first time in coming weeks. The Minister for Aboriginal Affairs, Roger Yench, said their work would include investigating other jurisdictions, research, specialist advice and consulting.
I know a lot of the feedback already is it's all got to be specific to the area. One model will not fit all, and that's just how we are as Aboriginal Australians.
The state's largest Aboriginal organisation, the Tasmanian Aboriginal Centre, chose not to be involved. They helped facilitate another group, elected by the Aboriginal community at a statewide meeting.
It's more about the government making decisions for us at the moment. and we wanted to turn around for the government to be making decisions with us.
They claim they would better reflect the community and have put forward their own draft treaty bill. While navigating the complex politics of Tasmania's Aboriginal community will be challenging, everyone's in agreement on a couple of things. The process needs to be Aboriginal-led, and truth-telling must come first. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmanian News.
Tasmania is catching the eye of those interstate or overseas looking for a tree change. Data from realestate.com.au showed the number of searches from outside the state rose by 21% in 2022. Hobart, Sandy Bay and Kingston proving the most popular suburbs to buy in. The United States is the most common country of origin for potential new Tasmanians. Supporters of convicted murderer Sue Fraser have pledged not to give up their fight for justice, holding a rally in Hobart. Advocacy lawyers joined the campaign, calling for those on parole to have greater freedom in sharing their story.
A renewed push to clear the name embroiled in one of Tasmania's most high-profile murder cases.
There are just too many questions still out there that are unanswered.
Sue Fraser has maintained her innocence, despite being found guilty of murdering her partner Bob Chappell aboard their yacht on Australia Day in 2009.
Bob's loved partner of 18 years, Sue Fraser, has been wrongly convicted of the crime. We seek justice for Bob and for Sue.
Speaking out on Parliament lawns, her supporters' pleas for justice were sprawled across placards, all determined to not rest until an independent commission of inquiry is established.
It is time that we opened our justice system up. If there is nothing to hide, then no one should be concerned about a commission of inquiry.
Legal advocates want to see a change in the current parole policy to allow ex-prisoners a chance to share their story publicly.
Ensuring that what they say is respectful and but strong advocacy, they ought to be able to put their case to the community.
Since being sentenced, Sue has continued to cultivate a large following of supporters. But this is the first time advocates have gathered following her release from Risdon Prison 3 months ago.
Sue is out of prison, but she is not a free woman. She is not free to lobby for herself, to fight for her rights.
Grace Evans, 7 Tasmanian News.
The Mountain Cattlemen's get-together has made its long-awaited return to Westbury. It's the first time the decades-old event has spanned across 3 days, with the competition growing bigger and better each year.
Horses, hats and happy faces. It's a cracking day for the Mountain Cattlemen's get-together to return after a 2-year hiatus.
It's really good to be back and putting on a family event for everyone to come out and hopefully enjoy and get back into the swing of things.
Been coming for 7 years. It's always a great event every year. Look forward to it.
Featuring some friendly family rivalry for its 34th edition.
It's a pretty good glow when you win against your older sister. It's pretty good because we train together and do pretty much everything together, so it's good to compete together.
With all ages from different disciplines coming together across a range of show-stopping events.
I like the whip crack because I'm all right at it, yeah. I find them all quite interesting and they've all got their quirks, so I enjoy all of them.
And plenty of fan favourites for the competition's cult following.
Probably the cows. We do have something for everyone. We had a high jump on yesterday and we've got a bit of an Ironman challenge this afternoon, a few relays, so it's really something for everyone, family event.
Open competitors also taking on the time trial, navigating obstacles in the main arena, followed by the main event, the championships.
It starts off with 4 sections, handy stock horse, whip crack. There's a cattle handling section out in the arena here. That's probably my favourite. Then there's a new one this year, the Mountain Challenge.
The get-together will round up tomorrow. McKenna Bailey, 7 Tasmanian News.
Meanwhile, there's no horsing around here, with a group of Tasmanian riders learning from some of the best coaches in the country. Equestrian Australia's Will Enzinger and EA Level 2 eventing coach Emily Anker have travelled from Victoria to train our high-performance riders.
there's lots to work on. Straightness, I think, has been a big one. Straightness, the quality of the canter, the show jumping course, we're dealing with a bit of undulation here, so keeping the horses balanced and jumping, but they're all doing a great job and soaking up all the information really well.
Em has a lot of experience in getting the horse shaped properly over the jump and going properly, and of course there's always work on your position as well. We're very lucky to be able to have their expertise and experience down here to give us some coaching and get us tuned up for the season.
30 horses and 26 selected riders as young as 12 years of age will take part across the 2 days at Quercus Park. 2 Tasmanian beaches have been named in the nation's top 10 according to Tourism Australia. Bruny Island's Adventure Bay came in at number 5 on the list, with British Admiralty Beach on King Island taking out 8th place. South Australia's Stokes Bay on Kangaroo Island took out top spot. Our under-19 women's cricket team has tumbled out of the T20 World Cup after a heartbreaking semi-final loss. The Aussies managed to restrict England to a lowly 99 runs. Tasmania's Amy Smith took 2 catches and then top scored with 26. But the support around her was lacking, Australia losing its final 2 wickets on 96 to fall 3 runs short. England will play India in Sunday's final. Jack Jumpers' finals dreams have taken a hit after suffering a 14-point loss to the Sydney Kings. Early energy by the Tasmanians wasn't enough to keep their opponents at bay as their sharp shooting stars blew out the margin.
Out with a point to prove in front of a roaring crowd, the Jackies were fired up and ready for battle.
Inside Magno, met up the top by Suarez. Kelly recovers the loose ball.
That early foul on Xavier Cook seeing Chase Buford turn sour courtside, prepared to cop the wrath of the Ant Army.
Interesting approach.
Sometimes that gets your team going though. When you look over and see your coach saying, I'm all in.
With the pressure on to confirm a playoff position, defence was strong from the Tasmanians, hurting the Kings as they attempted to get inside the paint.
And that is going to be a technical foul on the Sydney Kings.
Dominating the first quarter in their home territory, tall forward Fabian Krislovic bounced off the bench to make an impact.
Straight into the game and scores.
Finishing the first quarter with a steal, the Jack Jumpers set the pace, holding firm with an 11-point lead over the visitors.
Not that far off. Brilliant first quarter for the Tasmanian Jack Jumpers.
But Sydney weren't going home quietly. A significant shift in momentum helping place them firmly back in the contest.
Bit of momentum after that continues.
Yes, sir.
The Jackies had no answers as the Kings continued to claw their way back to take over the lead in a stunning fashion.
Walton Jr. fouled and won. He's getting...
The Sydney-siders' winless streak was finally turning a corner, with the sharp shooting of Vasiljevic unable to be contained.
DJ Vasiljevic with a little step back.
Breaking the hearts of Tasmanian fans.
Galloway's improving his three-point shot.
Little time to dwell on the defeat, with the Wildcats now in the Jack Jumpers' sights for a crucial Sunday showdown. Grace Evans, 7 Tasmanian News.
Good evening everyone. 30 degrees in Hobart today, Launceston 26, 23 in Devonport and Burnie saw a top of 22. Flinders Island, the state's top today of 32 degrees, Grove and Bushy Park 31, 29 in St Helens, Friendly Beaches 25 and 24 in Strawn. A layer of high cloud was over the state for most of the day today and then contracted to the north and east during the afternoon. Further out, considerable high cloud remains to the south of South Australia. Low cloud associated with a developing ridge lies over the Bight, while a weak frontal band lies well south of the Bight. Tomorrow, a decaying cold front approaches western Tasmania, while another trough lies about the northeast of the state. A high centre builds over the Bight and extends a ridge towards the northwest of the state. West to southwesterly winds tomorrow 10 to 20 knots, reaching 20 to 25 knots offshore in the south during the morning. Mostly sunny and 23 in Hobart tomorrow, 24 in Richmond, Ouse 26. Launceston 28 and partly cloudy, Devonport reaching 24, cloud clearing and 26 in Deloraine. 24 degrees in Burnie tomorrow, cloudy and 21 in Strawn, Curry also reaching 21, and cloudy across the east with St Helens reaching 24, 21 in Swansea and Whitemark, a top of 23. And the UV tomorrow is very high across the state with sunrise expected at 6:11 a.m. Looking on to Monday, fine apart from possible showers about inland areas in the afternoon. Mainly fine on Tuesday, Launceston reaching 28, Hobart 25. And on Wednesday, showers developing about the west, extending to southern and central districts during the morning. Sunny and 34 in Perth tomorrow, Adelaide 26, showers and in Canberra and Sydney, 31 in Brisbane and Cairns and Darwin reaching 30 degrees. And currently Hobart 27 degrees and mostly sunny, Launceston 24 and mostly cloudy, and 22 and partly cloudy in Devonport. And that is all in weather tonight, Tom.
And that's all your news for now. Thank you so much for joining us this Saturday evening and have a great night.